You're listening to the daily TPS Express version of The Public Square. Over the past several weeks, we've aired a two-part conversation that Dave Zanotti had with gospel music legend Ernie Haase of Ernie Haase and Signature Sound. When we finished producing those shows, we realized that we had more conversation left over on the cutting room floor. We decided not to let that go to waste. So today, join us for one more special conversation with Dave Zanotti and Ernie Haase.
If you think about how many changes that we've seen in our lifetimes, we're talking about being on the road. And we've both been on the road for more than 40 years.
Some would say longer than asphalt.
The first bus I was ever on was a 1966 rebuilt. And it was like the Brady Bunch. I mean, we literally just rebuilt the bus and took it out there.
Well, weren't you happy, though? You were in a bus.
Until that thing kept breaking down in New York in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the part that wasn't fun.
That's not fun.
Because I have no mechanical prowess with a diesel engine anyhow, but our guys did because they were in the auto business. But the rest of us would have to be standing around freezing. And it was unbelievable.
Yeah, those bus stories, you love it when it works. And I tell people all the time when I'm relaxing before a show in my bus, the air conditioning's down to 57 degrees, just peaceful. I wouldn't take $1 million for it. But then ask me when we're broke on the side of the road.
Which happens a lot.
Yeah. It more than it should.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then not to mention all the times you're laying in your bunk and the driver has to swerve to miss a deer. Just now I got all these ips because of just riding on a bus for over 45 years.
There ought to be like a PTSD formula for people that have been on the road.
I think a lot of us guys would say we have that. Yeah.
So is there something about Indiana that in the 20th century, more gospel music proceeded from Indiana than any other state or territory in the world? Between you guys and the Gaithers, there are more Indiana roots to gospel music than you can even begin to imagine. Doug was raised like two doors down from the Gaithers, right?
Yeah. And the Weatherford Quartet was based out of Fort Wayne, Indiana back in the day. The Weatherford Quartet, Lily Fern, they hired a 21-year-old kid by the name of George Yance to sing bass with them. And a mid-20-year-old...
Please tell me we're still rolling.
Mid-20-year-old lead singer by the name of Glenn Payne. Both of those guys came from the Weatherford Quartet, which was stationed in Fort Wayne, Indiana, on WOWO radio.
The license plates on Indiana should all be changed to the home of gospel music.
Well, the saying is, in every other state, it's basketball. But this is Indiana. So we feel like we invented it. John Wooden, what a great guy. Great heritage.
Everybody knows Indiana created basketball.
Yes. So there's just something.
But you guys, the Gospel Hall of Fame should be in Indiana.
There'll be a lot of people argue with you on that, but I think it's been a very special place, and God has trusted, especially the Gaithers. They've made such a great impact, and they've helped so many people, and I love it that they've stayed there. When I moved here to join the cathedrals in 1990, I fell in love with little Stowe, Ohio. So when I sing "The Town I Live In," the town I live in, the street, the house, the room, I'm thinking of Stowe, Ohio. That town has been great for me. So I've just been very fortunate. I talked about my mentors working for great people. I didn't have a horrible boss. I've had great mentors. I've lived in two towns, Newburgh, Indiana, and Stowe, Ohio. And both of these towns have been really good to me.
You haven't gotten all that far off the farm in Indiana, have you? In spite of all those travels all over the world, huh?
No, I thank God for my Southern Indiana upbringing. I'm still that kid that, I never see myself as a leader. People have said that. I'm like, no, I'm not. But I can even see that back when we lived on Garden Valley Road in that block. I mean, there'd be 10, 12 guys And I'm the one that's like, okay, you guys over here, we're going to do this. We're going to build this tree house. We're going to meet up here tomorrow and we're going to do this. We're going to go down to the library. We're going to rent Abbott and Costello video because Skip has a projector. Saturday, we're going to have a 1 o'clock showing. We're going to charge $0.10 to get in.
Like one of the original Little Rascals.
I know, I'm an entrepreneur even back then.
Doors. This is perfect.
I've been gigging and connecting ever since I was a kid, but that not for me. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a reason for all of this. I don't have to know. I just love when I meet interesting people and we can share coffee and conversations and connect, and I feel alive. I feel like this is why God put me on the earth.
Mm-hmm. There are spiritual moments that become that are interchanges, where people have the experience of knowing that there's someone else in the room, someone else in the conversation. And we've all had those experiences. We've had those moments, and you never quite recover from them. Now, sometimes they happen and we don't really get it. We look back and go, "Oh my goodness." But God is always looking for us. People say, well, when I found Jesus, Jesus never was lost.
He leaves the 90 and 9.
I was lost.
Yeah, we were the lost sheep that he went to find.
And he was looking for me. And so there's a certain sense in our country right now that we're old, crusty, worn out, and need to be taken out like the trash. Mm.
No.
Probably not. God's not finished with us yet. I will tell you that there's a lot of evil going on in our country right now. There's a lot of bad players. And there's a lot of people right now who are taking advantage of others, and it looks like they're getting away with it. Nobody gets away with anything.
No.
I don't like saying that because I'm guilty as everybody else. Ernie, one of the things we fight against here in this mission is the image of the holy man, the holy woman. You can remember back in the day where some quartet groups would come in and minister, and it was like they were amplified musical super evangelists. And they were bringing the God word into the room, and they were going to take people in 75 minutes to an elevated experience. And then those guys would go out in the bus, and on their way out of town, they'd stop at the local bar because they couldn't survive under the pressure of that image, that sense of spiritual performance. They couldn't do it. We're not called to do that. No. We're called to be broken. We're called to be honest. We're called to love. So I don't think America is anywhere near the trash heap because I don't think God's done with us yet. Again, another Chesterton quote in his book, Orthodoxy. He talks about why did God make some flowers that come up every year? Year after year after year. They were designed in their DNA, in their chromosomes. Chesterton didn't quite have those words at that time, but they were designed in their core design to repeat over and over and over and over again. Because Chesterton said in his mind, is the way he looked at that, he said, because God's not done with him yet. He's like a child who loves something beautiful and says, again, again, again. God doesn't give up. The scripture says love never fails. That means love never runs out of love.
I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up, and when you're needing your space to do some navigating, I'll be here patiently waiting to see what you find. 'Cause even the stars, they burn, some even fall. one who walks away so easily. I'm here to stay and make the difference that I can make. Our differences, they do a lot to teach us how to use the tools and gifts we got. Yeah, we got a lot at stake. I won't give up on us. God knows I'm tough enough. We've got a lot to learn. God knows we're worth it. Oh, I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I've given you all my love. I'm still looking up.
Love was always loving, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, in this, some call it even a dance
God
of love.
doesn't need us,
Well, apparently,
but he wants us.
look at what he created and look at what we've done with it. But he loves. If you don't want to ever be hurt, don't love. The greater the love, the greater the hurt. And even now, I'm not talking about just somebody treating you bad. Just saying goodbye to somebody and knowing, I know I'm going to see you again. I know we'll spend forever together, but man, this sucks. I miss them. It hurts. Why does it hurt?
Hurts every day.
Because I love them so much. And they gave and poured into me so much. That's just a little glimpse into what God is love, And so when we find ourselves saying, how can I enter into that, and how can that change me? I'm as competitive as anybody. I'm as competitive as Michael Jordan. I'm just not as talented. But even he would say,
Who's taller?
even he would say, I'm more competitive than you're competitive. It's like, but I'm just saying there's so many things about us that are not evil at first glance, but because we're human, because we're broken, they just get out of whack. I talked to a pastor the other day, and it was very apparent what side of the politics he was. I said, some of my friends, blah, 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 and then, politics, this side. He goes, well, you're better than me. I don't have any friends on that side. Don't want them. Is that where we've got? Is that what we've come to? Yeah. That is what's going to take us down. Not bullets, not bombs. A house divided can't stand.
And now, who said that?
Mm-hmm.
The same person you said was the love of God has a face, and it's Jesus. He's the one who said a house divided against itself cannot stand.
So I would encourage people. It takes risk. It takes getting out of the autocorrect mentality of I've got to be right and I've got to put you right. I would just want to. I really would hope there'd be somebody out there who would listen to this and say, I want to be a friend to somebody I've never been a friend to. Not to convert them. And I know right there I've lost 75% of the people, but go with me here. I want to be a friend with somebody and them really know that I'm looking at them and seeing them and I love them because they're made in the image of God.
Ernie, are we called to be converters or are we called to be witnesses?
We're called to be witnesses because if it's not working for you, what's the old what's the psychologist? Dr. Phil.
Mm-hmm.
How's that working for you? Great line.
Yeah.
God is love, God is peace, God is love. How's that working for you? You seem to be the most ugly person. You seem to be the most turmoil. Nobody in your family wants to be with you.
Yeah.
They're just biding their time throughout Thanksgiving and Christmas. How's that working for you? We're to be his light. We're to be his. I would encourage people, find somebody, get to know people that aren't like you, who don't think like you.
Well, now, what people fear more than anything else in these kinds of conversations is that conversation requires you to abandon your principles,
No.
to abandon your concerns, to turn a blind eye to evil, a deaf ear to error, and that somehow you just want to be nice.
No.
And the difference between right and wrong doesn't matter anymore.
No, because
That's what they're afraid of.
no, that's too easy.
And I understand it from being afraid because they've seen all kinds of Protestant denominations go right down the toilet and be left with nothing but let's be nice.
Yeah, I'm talking about having compassion. Getting to the place where you can say, "You too? You struggle with that too? I do too. Let's talk about that."
I struggle.
There has been more people helped probably in the last 50 years from AA
Keep going.
than a lot of church is.
Christmas in America, 1928. Sam Shoemaker in the beginning of AA.
What I'm saying
That's
is,
the gold standard.
it's not about being nice. You heard me that night at the concert when we did our America Land of Hopes and Dreams. At the very end, before the last song, I tried to sum it all together. And I said something that night that I've never said before. I said,
Better be good because we got it on tape.
I said in Northeast Ohio, in the town that I live in, especially every 4 years,
Oh, yeah.
I said, the signs come out. And I can tell by the signs in the front yard what side of the fence they're on. I said, well, let me tell you this. And I'm telling you this tonight because my neighbor is here. If I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, singing somewhere, something goes wrong at my house, I can call him. And he would be there for my wife. She would be there for my wife. Not because of our politics, but because we care. He came up to me afterwards. He said, "It's a God honest truth, Ernie. I love you and Lisa. Why do you love me? Is it because of the way I vote? It's our shared experiences. It's living in harmony. It's not having to correct anybody when it comes to those things. They know where I stand. They know what I'm about." My father-in-law, George Johns, lived next door to Pete and Noreen Crotola. He's rough. World War II vet. Every time I saw him, he's like, "Oh, German army couldn't take me down, Ernie." Just rough. When he'd have too much to drink and get rowdy, my father-in-law would go over there. My father-in-law never said a word of judgment or "stop it." That look of God's love coming through his eyes shut Pete down, and he'd fall to the ground crying. "I don't know why I do this, George." George was that light to him. So fast forward, we're singing one Sunday afternoon. They had to be in their late 70s. George felt comfortable saying, "Hey, there's people here probably that want to make that decision about Christ. We don't do this everywhere we go. We can't do this everywhere we go, but we're just gonna stand here and Roger's gonna play. If you want to come down here and do business with God, he wants to do business with you." That was George's way of saying it. It was halfway through Just As I Am. Here come Pete and Noreen. I don't know that George ever gave them the Romans road to salvation, but he modeled Jesus to them for so many years. My wife's got a little scar here in her chin. Pete put that together with a butterfly. Shared experiences, neighbors. It's more than trying to convert and sell people on anything. It's about living in harmony. That's why this metaphor of quartet has been so much a part of my life. There's nothing worse than a quartet singing off pitch. But when we're all together and we're singing in harmony, I don't think there's anything better. And that's a metaphor for life. So I would encourage anybody who's listening, it's not about being nice. It's not about, trying to change your ethics and your worldview. The Bible says, be ready to give a reason for the hope that's within you. Well, why would anybody ask for the hope that was within you if there isn't something within you that they're craving and seeing and they're like, that's working for them?
Mm-hmm.
What if that would work for me? And Jesus can change everything. But they got to see it first. They got to see that in you, that there is a peace, there is a contentment, there is a calmness, there is, I did this for you and you don't want anything from me. That's where, so if America has been successful, and we've been blessed, a lot of it's because of that. We know how to serve our neighbor. We know how to be God-fearing. And when on that level, I'm just wide-eyed and dreamy enough to think that in every little town that I go sing my songs, that I can plant those seeds, and I trust God with it. And the icing on the cake for me is, I love it. I'm not doing anything that I don't love to do. I love what I do. Sometimes it don't love me back very well. All the miles and missed flights and broken buses, my body is, but you know what? You only got one life. Live it wide open for Jesus.
When I was young, I was a dreamer. I thought this world was mine to own, and every day was an adventure. All mine to claim, I'd make a name that all would know. Then as I grew, I longed for comfort, to taste the things this world affords. But at their best, those things were fleeting, unknowing girl. Inside I knew there must be more. And now I find myself here thinking how sweet this life has been to hold. But through it all, the pain, the blessings, there's been a pull to leave this world for streets of gold. Now I'm longing for home. Yes, I'm longing to be where I belong. I've loved the life I've lived, but I know soon it will be gone. That's why I'm longing for home. Ooh, I love the life I've lived, but I know soon it will be gone. That's why I'm longing for home. Come home, it's supper time. That's why I'm longing for home. Longing for home. That's why I'm longing for home.
Thanks for listening to this special edition of The Public Square. To hear this show again or any of the other conversations that Dave has recently had with Ernie Haase, visit thepublicsquare.com. And to see what Ernie and the guys have going on the rest of the year, visit ErnieHaase.com. That's Ernie, HAASE.com. And we'll see you next time on The Public Square.
The Public Square is a broadcast service of the American Policy Roundtable.